Good evening friends, Dr. Dan here again, today coming at you with one of my other life tips in my Life Principles book. This one is great and it's helped me immensely in terms of long-term success for both spirituality, in terms of relationships, in terms of investing principles, in terms of my health especially, and I'd love to share with you what that is all about. So it's all about focusing on your habits. As I mentioned in the previous video, readers are leaders. Your habits are so incredibly important. Every day you have a decision to make. And what you want to do is get to the stage where those decisions are on autopilot. So you go through your day and your subconscious mind is gradually kicking in because you've trained your neurological signals, the basal ganglia in your brain, to fire at will over specific triggers so that you can just put it into autopilot. And the reason your brain does this is so that it can power down, because it can't just be focusing every single day of every single moment on every single decision. It's too much, okay? So what is an actual habit? So what is a habit? A habit is very simply put, having a cue, followed by a routine, and then followed by a reward. And when you do this over and over again, it adds to what's called a habit loop and a craving. Now, I was at the casino the other night watching Perth Scorchers win, which was great. And we're at the casino, well, you walk down the main strip and you see everyone's playing pokie machines, flashing bright lights. Those flashing bright lights are the cue. So the brain goes, okay, this is a trigger for me to gamble. People then go up to the slot machines, put some money in, press the button, pull the lever, then they see all the flashing lights go, so that's a routine, it's a physical routine to actually press the button or pull the lever. And then the reward is either they get a small amount of money, or of course they're very close to getting a small amount of money, and then they sit there for hours and hours and hours, and you can see this habit loop starting to take place. And then that becomes a craving. And when it's a craving, it's very difficult to actually try and break or even substitute. So scientists have actually put these little probes, there's been studies, into the basal ganglia, and people that are alcoholic or they're smokers, they actually, when they see someone smoking, or they go up to a group which is a trigger for smoking in terms of social cueing, they put the little triggers in there and they flash these little signals, and it overrides the brain, so they no longer have the urge to smoke. However, when they take those little sensors out, they go back to normal. Okay, so we need to train our habits. Now, our habits could be in health, like I said, could be a relationship, could be spirituality. Now, let's just focus solely on health, because as you know, I'm big on supplementation and big on good nutrition. So you've probably gone, everyone here has had fast food. You may know my story. I used to have fast food every single week. Our cue was to drive down the road and see those big flashing M's, the big yellow M's. That was my mum's cue and my dad's cue. Busy day, long day from work, easiest way to shut the kids up, let's go to McDonald's, okay? And then on the weekend we did the same. The routine was going in there, eating some food. As soon as the grease or the sugary drinks hit our tongue and our mouth, we got this biochemical feedback, and that was our reward. So what turned into usually every fortnight we would go, turned into every week, and then occasionally twice a week. Okay, so my mum, my dad knew that takeaway food was really bad for you, but why did we go every single week and twice a week? It's because we developed the habits. We'd seen the cue, we felt the reward with the grease and the sugar on our mouth, and our routine was to actually go there every single day. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, so how does this apply to me, Dan? Well, first step is to identify the cues, the triggers of your bad habits. What are some bad habits that you have? It might be biting your nails. It might be just sitting on the couch, eating Doritos. What are the triggers? Is it you go home and instead of being productive and cooking some meals, you basically sit on the couch and watch TV. So the trigger is literally going home and sitting on the couch, and the routine is watching TV, and the feedback, the reward is the great response you get from the content of the TV. So you've got to identify what your triggers are. Then the next step is, what is the reward? How does it make you feel, and why? Why are you feeling that way in the first place? A lot of the times the reward is something physical. It could be mental, it could even be emotional, so it's changing our emotional state. But the key here, and pay attention friends, is that for the most part, when you look at psychological studies and even high performance sports teams, they don't change the trigger, they don't change the reward, they change the routine. So let's look at the example, for instance, of fast food. So my parents, instead of having the trigger of going down and they see the queue, the big M, they see that big M, we go in, we eat some food, and then of course the reward is we get the nice taste in our mouth. Now, they could have gone a different route, for instance, they could have gone a different path, we could have walked, so change the actual routine. That is the key, because if you change the routine, you're more likely, once you get a trigger which is subconscious, to overwrite those existing habits. Now, studies have also shown that that's quite difficult, because under stressful conditions, you could be doing this over and over again, that's fine, but as soon as a crisis strikes, you revert back to obviously having the fast food. That's a big issue. So what do we do next? Well, the next thing that you do is, they have shown that if you have a belief in what you're doing, if you're in a group and you have a greater purpose and you believe that you can change the habit, you're more likely to actually alter and change the habit in the first place. So the formula is very simple. Identify the cues and triggers of your bad habit, change the routine to something that's more productive and constructive, and then still experience the same reward, but do that over and over again so you get a craving. You will most likely slip up, so it's important that you have a belief, and a belief comes from a range of different things, by meditating, by changing our mindset, by focusing on positive attitude. But one of the biggest ways to solidify your belief is getting in a group of like-minded people that are able to bring you up, especially when you're hitting rock bottom. It's not rocket science, it's very, very simple. A great book that I always recommend is The Power of Habit. You can probably see it there. It is a great book by Charles Duhigg, and it outlines all of these principles, and it's something that I've been using for a very long time, and that little section is in my principles book, Life Principles. So please like and share this video if you think it's been of great value, and I'd love to see your in your comments, what are some habits that you want to break? And I'd love for you to maybe just write in the comments section what are the triggers of those habits, what are the new routines that you can actually change, and then what's the reward that you can get from it. Because this might be good, we can start maybe a bit of a group going that we can actually help other people and generate that belief when the times are difficult. So have a great Australia Day, enjoy your holidays. I look forward to providing you with another great life principles section next week. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.